Hello, my name is Philipp Wissgott from danube.ai. Markus, thank you very much for the invitation to this Tech Talk. It's really a pleasure to be here. danube.ai is a decision engine. That's for us the next logical step after search engines like Google. And for our decision engine, we had to create a completely new form of artificial intelligence that has nothing to do with machine learning. And in this talk, I want to tell you why we did it and how we did that. But first, let's start off with a little history. So the younger ones of you might not know anymore, but there was a time when Google was not the thing to search on the internet. There was a company called Yahoo or Alta Vista, and the internet was very small at the end of the 90s. And when you looked for something, you just went on the pages and typed in the search field what you look for. And the technology was pretty simple. So we just searched all the internet pages for the stuff that you entered in the search field. And they were pretty good. They were big. They were famous. And then there was a tiny company coming to them called Google. And they said, hey, look, we have a new technology. We've changed the way searching works for us with a hierarchical algorithm that can search the internet faster and in a better way to personalize the search results in a unique way. So let's do something together. Let's partner up. Let's work together. You have the audience and we have the technology. Yeah, Yahoo said, well, actually everything works well the way it is. We don't have any performance issues with our technology. Actually, we don't like to collaborate. And every one of us knows what came next in the next 20 years. So nowadays, Google is the biggest company on the planet. And the younger ones of you don't know anymore what Yahoo and Alta Vista is, actually. But after 20 years of search engines and doing many things with Google, some of you might ask yourselves, is there something that goes beyond search engines that is the next step after Google? And that's also the question that we asked ourselves. And so we analyzed Google, because that's the most successful thing in search engines. And the first thing we did is we looked at the point why Google is so successful. So Google is the biggest company. And when you want to search something, you type it in the search field. And in this example, I just typed in, I want to buy a car. I want to get a new car. And the first thing is Google gets better with every search. So every time someone enters something in the search field, the next searches after that will become better. The service of Google become better. That's actually quite a cool thing, right? The next thing is it customizes, it personalizes on a very high level, we have to confess. But for example, the location when you want to buy a car, hey, it shows you a car store, a shop close by. And it doesn't tell you anything what kind of cars you can buy there. So then we'll see later on, that's actually something that you would like to know, or to a kind of personalization you would like to have. But still, it's quite cool when you are on the street and you're looking for a restaurant. Hey, I'm very hungry. Show me the next restaurant. A search engine is just the coolest thing to be. And to summarize it, it's many microservices that made our lives a lot better, and we all became a lot faster in doing things. And either I just went here from Vienna to Linz and I just used Google Maps for routing, and many other things like calendar and the search, and it's just helping a lot of people a little bit. And just by the amount of people they are helping out, it just comes the power of Google, or the business model and the technology of Google. So that's on the good side. On the other hand, there are some flaws with Google's technology. And if you look closely, the next time you search something, maybe you will notice them. The first thing is the search field and the results are just a big filter. So it's kind of more a data analytics thing, so that how they actually can cope with this huge amount of data. So the internet is a lot bigger than 20 years ago. And that's actually was the main technological task to can work with that amount of data. And it's not so much an artificial intelligence thing. It's not so much an intelligence thing that they do. So it's actually quite only a filter to some extent. And every one of us knows that when something happens to come on the second page of search results, you would just never see it because you just don't have the time to click on the second or third page of the search result. So what Google brings on the first page is very decisive, and it's not really personalized on a personal level to help you out. And then become more on a kind of feature sense, what it does for you, what the nature of the search results is like. In this example, it's, for example, and I've highlighted here 5 tips for buying a car the smart way. So it's not an opportunity to buy a certain car. It's a way to become an expert in car buying. And that is with all consumer related questions that you enter in Google. You have to become an expert in TVs when you buy a TV. You have to become an expert in laptops when you buy a laptop. And we just don't have this time anymore. We take so many consumer decisions every day and every week. If we like look on the second, third page of Google or try to become an expert in the things, then we just don't have any more time left to do anything else. And that's somehow the gap, the technological gap that opens up for future technologies to go the next step. And for us, it's, in a way you can translate it. Google is a search engine. So what it does is it finds something for you. So when you're looking for something very particular, it can find it very quickly and very accurately. But on the other hand, it doesn't help you decide. And many things in life actually is about making the right decision. And that's why we think that decision engines are actually the next big thing after search engines. So how it can look like. So by the way, what I'm talking right now is a little bit future also for our company. So if you go on our website and look for the search field, I'm sorry, we're just doing it for our customers right now in the background, but we are working to get this general service ready for you. Let's just imagine what it will be like when we have completed the decision engine. And you can type in which car should I buy, and it automatically will take into account your personal preferences. So for example, the kind of lifestyle you live, the kind of holidays you go on vacation, where you go to, will just be correlated with the way, what kind of cars you like, what kind of car brands you like. And also the easiest way, just what kind of colors you like. It will be just filtering out a lot of other colors that you don't like, that you don't need to be recommended. And when you type it in and you click on the Tell Me button, then our vision is that you get just 5 results of cars you can test drive in the shop around the corner in 1 hour. And also the appointment for this test drive is already made in the moment you click on this, I want to test drive this particular car. So it gets a lot faster, and it's not kind of a full automation in an artificial intelligence sense. It's kind of a semi-automation that filtering out and recommending stuff, but still you make the final decision out of a reduced selection of things. And another thing is, you might say, oh my God, the algorithm, the artificial intelligence knows where I'm going on holiday and all this other stuff. Oh, it's going crazy. The data is everywhere. My data is everywhere. No, with danube.ai, it will be that actually you can choose where your data is. So you can say, I just like all my data with me. Then it will stay in a cookie at your place, and or just in the local storage in your browser. But you can, of course, also make an account. That's up to you. But if you choose just to keep your data, then we don't need it. So it just it stays with you. And you might now ask how we do that technically. And I will come to that at a later point. It will then come all together at the later stage of my talk. So that's somehow the vision. And we've come a long way. And I want to tell you something in how we actually tackled the problem. And we've done it with the master plan of artificial intelligence. We've looked how humans do it, how the human brain is working. And we've actually looked how humans make decisions. So actually it works so fast in our brain that you usually don't notice it. And in the end, you just have the gut feeling of the final decision. But these kind of steps happen in all of us every day, like thousands of times, probably. And just first you collect all the memories. So you collect all the memories from the first thing you remember. And that's just a lot. That's just like the internet in comparison. And then you filter out all non-relevant stuff. For example, you filter out all stuff that has nothing to do with cars. But memories about you driving a car or a car breaking down somewhere might be important for your decision. So that stays in the data pool. The third step is you create a pro and con list. So a car breaking down on holiday in Italy, a long way from the next place where you can repair it. It's horrible. You probably will never buy that car brand again. And I'm not saying any brands right now. And that's just a very important thing on your pro and con list. The next thing is you weight the pros and cons. So breaking down in Italy might be much more important than a handbrake not working for once. And so it's not all pros and cons don't all have the same weight. So you have to weight them. And the final step is you sort your alternatives or your options according to your personal cost and your personal value. And this personal is very important. Just give you an example. If you are a rich person and you have a car that is 1,000 euro, costs 1,000 euro more, then you might not care so much about that difference. But if you don't have that much money, 1,000 euro might be a huge difference influencing your decision a lot. And the second, the same goes with value. So personal value, if you like a good audio system in your car, then these cars with good audio system will have a higher value for you. And that has to be taken into account. And so what we did is in this human process of making decisions to automate it in our decision engine. And we have done with Danube the steps 3 to 5. And when you see that the first 2 steps is actually what Google has been doing for 20 years. And that's, I'm not saying it's something small, it's huge. Doing these first 2 steps with that amount of data is just a huge endeavor. And so we have solved the points 3 to 5, but at some point we also have to solve the points 1 to 2. We just at our stage right now, we didn't want to copy Google for good, and it makes no sense. So for our customers right now, when we build the decision engine for our customers, the data comes usually from them. So it's kind of a pre-processing step. And then we start with the create pro and con list. And that's then our artificial intelligence algorithm that we can create a very personalized decision engine that just works for you. And for us, that's the next step after search engines. So now I've already switched a little bit from the why to the how. Let's go into more detail about the how. And I told you that danube.ai is not based on machine learning. And that's a very important thing that just is the foundation of everything what comes technically afterwards. So Danube is a multidimensional sorting algorithm that has nothing to do with machine learning. It follows completely other philosophies, and it does certain steps at another time as machine learning does. In machine learning, you have one central server that is just collecting data, and you just ask the server, please give me a recommendation, or please give me some pattern recognition or something. And in our case, it's not like this. It's the artificial intelligence is actually going from the server to you. So every user, me and Markus, will have a different kind of artificial intelligence. And this artificial intelligence itself is created at the very moment when you press the button when you want to have a recommendation. Let's go away from the car example and let's go to a Netflix example. Just imagine you are at the evening, you want to watch something on Netflix, and you press the button, or you enter Netflix, and in the future danube.ai integration in Netflix, tells you now what you would like to watch. And at that very moment, when you press the button, then the artificial intelligence is created. And it will be different from everyone else. And it will be different from yesterday's Philipp, today's Philipp, and tomorrow's Philipp. So that's actually the difference between the learning phases. So when you have machine learning, you have usually a learning phase where you have a data set completed and you just say, okay, with this data, I now learn. And then you go into kind of a live phase where you keep learning, but it's kind of, there has to be some kind of starting phase where you build the artificial intelligence model. In our case, that's a little bit different. And that also gives us a unique capabilities in terms of technology, how we solve the problem. So in Netflix, as you might have imagined, as you might have noticed, it's when you watch a cooking show, the recommendations are based on content similarity. So it will recommend another cooking show. And then I say, oh, you watch 2 cooking shows, you third, fourth, fifth cooking show. But that's not the way we watch. I mean, at least not me, but it's okay. And it's more like maybe after this cooking show, everyone watched this new action movie everyone is talking about. And that's just correlated. Artificial intelligence by now doesn't know about it, but the users know that because they just want to watch what they like. So what actually Danube does is it looks at the user, at user behavior only and not on the content similarity. So it looks, I am 5% similar to Markus. I am 5% similar to you. And so it collects all the similarities of all other users and sees how much are you similar to all the other users. And then makes a like personal profile. And from this personal profile, it creates the personal artificial intelligence just for you. And so quite not surprisingly, we don't need big data. So it works after the first click and the personalization gets better with exponentially with every click. So even when we would go on future Danube integration on Netflix, on the first movie you watch, at the second recommendation will already be personalized for you. And this personalization will become even better with every third, fourth, fifth movie you watch or series you watch. And this matching of the recommendations to your personal likes happens exponentially. And yeah, with this technology, we have a huge opportunity to reach into applications that have not been covered by artificial intelligence yet. And so this enables us to build our decision engines for our customers. And yeah, this all is not kind of my own story, but it's a story of our team. And we all work together to do this in the last 3 years. And now we're really ready to do the next step. And it has been really a pleasure for you to listen to my talk. And thanks a lot.